Hello everybody, this is Recipes to Live For. We're making coconut macaroons today. You want to use a bag of baker's coconut, 14 ounces, or any other kind of coconut that's used for baking. We're going to empty the bag and we're going to stir it up really well, break it up with a fork because it's kind of sticky and you want to get a good mixing in there before we put our ingredients in. Got parchment paper here for putting them in the oven. Once we're all done mixing, we're going to spray that with some cooking oil. Next thing we're going to do is add 6 tablespoons of flour to the coconut. And we're going to mix that up pretty well because I'm a stickler for incorporating things really well. So we'll just give it a good mix before we put the rest of the stuff in. Next thing we're going to add is a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I have a 1/2 teaspoon measurement, just want to cut that in half because I don't have a 1/4 teaspoon measurement. And put that in there. Then we're going to add our sugar. It's going to be 2/3 cups of sugar. So 1/3 going in and 2/3. It's going to seem like a lot, but after all it is a dessert and it's not overly sweet once you have it all done. It's delicious. So stir that up really well. Next thing going in is going to be our egg whites. So I have a 1/4 cup of egg whites that I get in a carton because I don't like wasting eggs. I usually do big double and triple batches. And you have to be careful not to use too much. It will change the entire recipe and make it too cakey if you use too much. So this is a 1/4 cup of the egg whites you can buy in a carton at the store. I add my extracts to the egg whites. This is almond extract. I use 2 teaspoons because I love the almond flavor. It asks for 1 in the recipe, but I put 2 in, and I put vanilla because I use vanilla for everything I bake. I love the taste. So this is 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla I'm adding to the almond extract with the egg whites. I'm going to stir that up. And I'm going to slowly add it to my coconut mixture. Now at first it's going to seem like there's not enough liquid in there, but you keep on stirring and you're going to find that there is enough in there. You just want it to be moist enough where it starts sticking together somewhat, but not too much. If it's too liquidy, that means there's too much egg white and you can't take it out once it's in there. And then if it's too much egg white, it's more cakey, more meringue, and it changes the texture entirely. So we want to have them nice and crispy on the outside. And this looks just about right. You want to see it packing just a little bit, but yet somewhat loose. That's the texture you want right there. It's looking good. Just mix it really well. And now we're going to put it on our parchment paper. We're going to spray it with some oil. And I'm going to show you how to place it on the parchment paper. It needs to be a loose kind of mixture that goes on there, and I'll show you what I mean. So do you see how loose this is? It's going to go on. You're not packing it. You're not packing it like a ball. The more surface it has, the crispier it is on the bottom. And on the top, the peaks from the coconut gets nice and brown and crunchy. That's what you want. And you're going to put them in the oven for enough time to see that nice golden brown coming from your macaroons. I'm going to put an almond on a few of them because it looks pretty. It's going to be like an almond joy, but you know, some people might like that on there. It looks nice. And it's got to certainly go in before you bake them. It's going in the oven at 350 degrees. I had preheated my oven. Now they are done, and we're going to make our chocolate. Once they're in the oven is when I heat up the chocolate. So it goes in for about 2 minutes at first. A whole big bag of, I use dark chocolate, and then another 45 seconds in the microwave oven. It's nice and melted. Now we're going to start dipping after the macaroons are cooled. Like so. You want to be careful with the chocolate because it doesn't take that long to melt in your microwave. So 2 minutes, stir it, and then maybe another 40 seconds and stir it up. So once we dip the bottom, we're going to drizzle some over the top. And look at that, doesn't that look nice? Now you certainly don't have to do this part. You don't have to dip them, you can just drizzle the chocolate over and it still looks beautiful. They're going to go in the freezer to harden up the chocolate for about 15 or 20 minutes. Now we have a little special treat afterwards because we have leftover chocolate. I will show you what I do with my leftover melted chocolate. I'm going to add some nuts and we're going to make some bark. So going in is some pecans. I'm going to crush them up with my hand. You can put as much or as little as you want in there. We're making a chocolate nut bark. This is a nice treat for the holidays coming up. If you're a chocolate nut lover, and I certainly am. Next thing going is some craisins. I don't really like raisins, but you can put raisins in, you can put any kind of dried fruit, or none at all. It's really got a nice chew to it when you are eating it. I like that texture. So just a little bit. I'm going to put in some almonds. I'm not going to cut these up because they're much harder to cut, but I like them whole anyway. So a few almonds in there. And I have some walnuts. We're going to break them up a little bit and put them in there. You can put coconut in, you can even put oatmeal in. It's delicious if you like that kind of thing, and I do. So be creative, put whatever you like in there. Just make sure you leave some room so you can spread it out on your parchment paper. If it's too lumpy, then it's a little harder to spread, but we're going to stir it up and then pour it on our parchment paper. We don't have to spray it with oil because it comes off quite easily once it's hardened. So pour it on there as evenly as you can. And you want to get the nuts nice and evenly distributed on there. And that can be a little bit tricky, but it's not too hard to do. If you like, you could sprinkle some sea salt over top, some coarse salt. Some people like that. It's not my thing, but that can be really good for some people's taste. You could sprinkle nuts over top before you put it in the freezer. You could sprinkle coconut over top. Whatever floats your boat. So it's spread out as best as I can do, and then it's going to go in the freezer about 15 or 20 minutes to harden up. Once it comes out of the freezer, I broke it up, and that's the outcome, and it's so delicious and festive. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Look at that. It's really yummy. I hope you try this recipe. Until the next time.